dare to be reckless. Thus, he opted for a low-altitude dive. The 50mm caliber cannon was quite heavy, likely an automated artillery mounted on an infantry fighting vehicle. At that moment, it was being controlled by a bizarre creature, and its terrifying weight made it difficult for the creature to maneuver the cannon, as it was simply too heavy. But this also sealed its fate. Suddenly, a missile shot out from Wang Cheng's battleship, hitting its target instantly. With a thunderous boom, the rooftop of a low building on the outskirts was directly penetrated. An orange fireball shot skyward, with smoke billowing. Half of the rooftop was obliterated. In Wang Cheng's mind, he immediately heard the sound of energy points being credited, along with a notification for receiving a Level 1 Black Technology Resource Pack. Killing a bizarre creature would grant a Level 1 Black Technology Resource Pack. A cold smile crept across Wang Cheng's lips. A trap? Fine, just right for me to farm resource packs. However, at that moment, the battleship shook violently. Warning. The battleship is experiencing an electromagnetic shock. Some modules are offline. Below their battleship, hidden among the chaotic anomalies, a hunched bizarre creature suddenly raised a metallic rod embedded with an irregular energy crystal. Upon closer inspection, it appeared that this metallic rod was some sort of device. Extremely peculiar, with its end inserted into the creature's body, resembling biological technology integrated with it. It was this strange device that, when activated, shot out a pulse laser electromagnetic ray, striking like lightning, hitting the wing section of Wang Cheng's battleship. Strangely, this bizarre creature was not attacked by the surrounding anomalies, as if it were considered one of them. Meanwhile, in another direction, within a building, windows shattered, revealing a towering bizarre creature with 8 spider-like legs, strong but slender and delicate in build, showcasing an absurdly strange beauty. It shouldered a rocket launcher and fired fiercely, taking advantage of the moment when Wang Cheng's battleship was shaken by the attack, landing a hit. The battleship shook violently, emitting thick smoke. These bizarre creatures had long since scattered, hiding among the monsters and buildings, waiting for human reinforcements to arrive before opening fire frantically. The 8-legged spider-like female bizarre creature let out a sharp and maniacal laugh, its voice eerie and haunting, resembling the wails of a vengeful spirit. The battleship shook violently, and many functional modules went offline due to the electromagnetic shock. The kinetic energy absorption armor function also just went offline, resulting in a rocket striking hard against it. The external armor on one side of the battleship was almost blown apart, and the high temperature penetrated inside. Xu Bing, who was near the explosion point, let out a muffled groan and rolled out, burned. The battleship was already out of control, with thick smoke billowing inside and outside, plunging directly into the horde of monsters below. However, Wang Cheng forced the control stick up, straining to maintain the battleship's stability. In the end, it did not crash to the ground at a 90-degree angle, but rather, he managed to turn the battleship around and crash it into the building where the strange creature was hiding, with dust and debris flying as it slammed into the ground. Warning, power system offline. Battleship damaged 75. Warning, emergency repairs needed. Warning, battleship unable to take off. The warning alerts rang incessantly in Wang Cheng's ears. Yet he was disoriented and dizzy from the impact. The building seemed to be some kind of warehouse, with the entire first floor open. As Wang Cheng's battleship crashed in, there were no secondary collisions, only some small handling equipment knocked over. Otherwise, had it been a residential building, such a collision would have resulted in further damage, and the battleship could have exploded on the spot, turning into a raging fireball. Behind his battleship, countless aberrant creatures roared and surged in. Not far away, Zhang Rui's and others from the storage supermarket had just stabilized their position thanks to Wang Cheng's help in clearing out the monsters in front of the supermarket, creating an open area. Seizing the opportunity, Zhang Rui's drove a forklift out from the supermarket's garage, intending to break through with the experts. However, at that moment, Zhang Rui's looked up and saw the scene. Wang Cheng's battleship was descending amidst thick smoke. His eyes widened in horror. Wang Cheng's brothers, Zhang Chao and Su Xinghai, instantly turned pale. The monsters surged like a tide, quickly diverting towards the warehouse where Wang Cheng was located, flooding into the massive breach created by the battleship's impact, resembling a moving black wave, dense and endless. In the chaos, on the other side of the rooftop, a spider-like creature with 8 legs leaped down from the window, its manic laughter echoing as it crazily flailed its legs, sending the blocking aberrations flying aside, racing towards Wang Cheng. It aimed to tear apart the pilot inside that aircraft with its own hands. However, a deafening explosion suddenly erupted from the front warehouse. Although the battleship's power system was damaged, it could still move. The massive body twisted, and missiles along with machine guns fired simultaneously, transforming into a terrifying firepower point, sweeping and bombarding the numerous monsters rushing in from the front. The firepower was ruthless. Every monster that charged in was turned into a sieve of flesh and blood. Chapter 93. Upgrade. Upgrade. In the battleship's warehouse, flames soared into the sky amidst dense explosions. Groups of aberrant creatures rushed in, only to be blown to pieces. Even some massive secondary mutated monsters rolling in madly were hit by shells, meeting a gruesome end as they were blown to bits. The human fighters inside were desperately unleashing their firepower, declaring their unwavering combat strength with fierce intensity. Among the monstrous horde, the hunched, eerie creature blinked and vanished, while the eight-legged female spider-like being abruptly halted its advance. It gazed at the distant, chaotic firepower, let out a low growl, and quickly activated its edge mode. They possessed intelligence. Seeing that the initial assault had failed, they instantly changed their strategy, allowing the ignorant, ordinary mutated creatures to take the lead, depleting the ammunition of the stronghold. Once the stronghold fell silent, they would move in for the kill. At this moment, the battlefield was divided into two sides. On the stronghold side, artillery roared and explosions echoed, attracting even more monsters, surrounding the warehouse location where the protagonist was, making it nearly impossible to escape. On the other side, Zhang Rui's S group seized the opportunity and charged forward. A soldier sacrificed himself, driving a forklift wildly into the horde of monsters. Tearing open a breach, Zhang Rui's and the awakened ones covered the injured and the experts, charging madly from behind. An expert gazed at the mass of monstrous creatures and cried out, Captain Zhang, Captain Zhang, the specimens we retrieved from the fallen objects were snatched away by those monsters. Is there any chance of getting them back? Zhang Rui's answer was negative. The situation had taken a sharp turn. Whether they could break out was uncertain, let alone reclaim the specimens from the mysterious creatures. The expert looked regretful, seemingly indifferent to life and death, more concerned about the specimens they had unearthed. He lamented, what a pity, what a pity. I hope others manage to secure the specimens. Fortunately, we have the photos, data, and some fragments that can be used. Amidst the crowd, Su Xinghai handed Zhang Chao over to Wang Qi and Yuan Rui, pushing through the survivors and the throng to reach Zhang Rui's side. Despair and desolation etched on his face. Captain Zhang, the stronghold is still behind us. Should we abandon it? Su Xinghai pointed to a supermarket across the street, his eyes filled with urgency. Their escape direction was increasingly distant from the stronghold, and with the stronghold in ruins, no matter how fierce the firepower, it couldn't hold for long. If this continued, the stronghold was doomed. Zhang Rui's glanced at the experts behind him, gritted his teeth, and said, we need to break out first. As for the brothers at the stronghold, I promise you, I will find a way. I will find a way. Meanwhile, Qin Hai stood atop a wrecked vehicle, casting flames with his outstretched hand. Coldly, he remarked, we will remember the touching deeds of the brothers at the stronghold who sacrificed themselves to protect the experts. But in this situation, are we really going to risk all our lives to save one? Wu Haiqing fell silent at this moment, standing among the crowd, drenched in blood. He saw a glimmer of hope for their breakout. Right now, he didn't want to turn back. Due to the location of the royal city, situated deep within the territory of monsters and clearly targeted by strange creatures, they had witnessed the cunning and strength of these entities along their journey. Now, most of them were utterly exhausted and lacking heavy firepower. Returning like this, whether they could rescue the royal city was uncertain, but their own survival was a definite no. Wu Haiqing also wanted to establish a connection with the royal city. He acknowledged its significance but did not wish to die. No one wanted to sacrifice their life to save others, especially since Captain Zhang had not said anything. Su Xinghai was stunned. He turned and tightly grasped Li Xinqing's arm, saying hoarsely, what if we split into groups to save him? Just a part of us, just a part. That woman, the one named Su Ling, is with my brother. Isn't she the daughter of a significant figure? It wouldn't be good to explain her death. How about this? I'm willing to take the lead to save them. If he comes to our rescue, can we just abandon them? Are we still human? Li Xinqing's expression flickered, but he also turned to glance at the experts behind them, his face changing from one emotion to another, nearly grinding his teeth. He whispered, Mr. Su, I assure you, as long as we can get this group of experts to safety, we will come back to save them immediately. The brother in the royal city can still fire. He can hold out for a while longer. Besides, we don't even know if we can break out ourselves. We can't split our forces. Qin Hai sneered. Let us take care of ourselves first before worrying about others. At that moment, ahead of them, a forklift crashed down, and countless monsters surged forward, like a swarm of ants, endlessly climbing and frantically pouring in. Eventually, with a loud explosion, the soldiers inside the forklift detonated a grenade just before being torn apart, turning the forklift into a final bomb. Amidst the billowing smoke, monsters surged from all directions. As Li Xinqing had said, whether they could break out smoothly was uncertain, and whether they could complete their mission to protect the experts carrying crucial information was even more unknown. In this situation, they felt powerless. Su Xinghai stepped back, moving through the crowd to Zhang Chao and Wang Qi, and said sadly, no one is willing to help us. Wang Qi,